Last summer, my husband had a heart attack and died in his beloved woods. How long he lay there, we'll never know. But CPR was started by some passing Good Samaritans who thought it strange that a dog stood all alone by an empty car. The nearest defibrillator was brought from the local village, but his heart was still flatlining. After some 35 minutes, an ambulance and a helicopter arrived. He was fully resuscitated and taken to the emergency department, and then to have his artery unblocked by the cardiologists. He was transferred to the intensive care unit, where he was placed in a medically induced coma. I was away for the weekend when I received the call. I needed to be positive, but as an ex-ICU nurse, I was only too aware that the prognosis for such a catastrophic event is poor. I knew that Kishan would be the first person I called. He is one of our oldest friends and has treated the whole family, including our pets, over the years with fantastic results. Kishan immediately started sending healing to my husband. He explained the injuries that he could see within and around my husband's heart from the heart attack, and also the trauma caused from the so necessary chest compressions. That night was probably the worst time for us. His heart was so unstable that he remained attached to the defibrillator. A scan showed a heart that was dysfunctional and severely damaged. Kishan sent more healing. The next day, miraculously, his heart had stabilised and was working much more normally. Kishan created a rescue remedy for my husband to be given every few hours. This treatment was fully supported by the team on ICU, as they believed in a patient-centred approach. They listened when I advocated that my husband liked to use complementary therapies. Kishan came to my husband's bedside on 3 occasions to give hands-on healing whilst he was ventilated. He also sent further distance healing in response to updates. Cardiac arrest starves the oxygen supply to the whole body, but the brain is the most vulnerable and rapidly becomes damaged. During the first healing, when my husband was in an induced coma, I clearly saw Kishan's hands disappear into my husband's head. He got pneumonia and very high levels of oxygen were needed. The second healing resulted in the oxygen being significantly reduced the next day. The next problem to overcome was kidney damage. The team prepared me that they would be using blood filtration to support. Kishan came to heal a 3rd time and his kidneys started to improve. Kishan also prevented sepsis from becoming serious. He was even given an antibiotic holiday. The team were relentlessly optimistic, as was Kishan. I owe everyone for this, as sometimes I did not always have this faith. He was getting better all the time and was taken off the ventilator after 2 weeks and 1 day. This was a quick turnaround after failure of heart, lungs, kidneys, the brain injury and sepsis. When he finally left hospital, my husband was so frail and slept more than half the day, but now he can exercise as before, especially in the woods. His cognitive function and memory are improving day by day. Life after a brain injury, regardless of cause, is not an easy path, so it is miraculous that he is back to doing all the things he previously enjoyed. Being critically ill and ventilated is known to cause PTSD in most people. My husband is now more happy and content than he has ever been. This is not always the case after brain injury either. A further scan of his heart 1 month after the cardiac arrest showed virtually normal function. He is following his preference to take homeopathic medication instead of prescribed drugs. In my former career as an ICU nurse, I have never come across such a remarkable recovery. We have truly been blessed by a miracle.